Come on.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
Almost everyone has heard the term sex sells when it comes to advertising, but have you ever wondered why? In a society that strives for gender equality, sex appeal in advertisements are more prominent than ever. So what exactly is it that connects sex appeal to consumer behavior? There are a variety of reasons why advertisers turn to sex when it comes to selling their product or service. In his 1996 study, expert Dr. Tafflinger found that sex is the second strongest of all our physiological appeals, only to be beaten out by self-preservation. By using sex in advertising, marketers are appealing to a primal instinct we all carry. Biologically, sex in advertising triggers our desire to find a proper mate. This means fitting the criteria that humans look for in a potential partner. For men, a mate must be appealing reproductive-wise. This means she must be young and healthy, or in other words, able to conceive. For women, different traits are needed to fit her criteria. A woman knows she must be selective in her partner choice because her choice affects hers and her offspring's life. These biological factors make men more susceptible to advertisements that contain sex appeal. Men's criteria are much easier to fill in a 30-second advertisement than a woman's criteria. Although women also have sexual reactions, they are constantly considering long-term factors. Let's take a look at an example of the power of sex appeal in advertising focused on men. In 2000, Heineken launched a new marketing campaign called the It's All About Beer campaign. This campaign was developed to expand their position in the United States beer market. Aimed at 21 to 35-year-olds, these commercials were meant to be humorous and show that the beer was one you could consume every day. The following video, The Premature Pour, along with the rest of the campaign, helped Heineken sales rise 13% in the 2002's first two quarters.
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is alright with me. 'Cause you make me feel so brand new.
Besides looking at it from a biological standpoint, why else would marketers use sex appeal in advertising? It's all about shock value. The more sexual and shocking an ad is, the longer the memory of it will be imprinted in your mind. This in turn helps to add to word-of-mouth advertising. Even if you found the ad sexually offensive, you can't help but tell your friend about it. And then that friend will tell their friend, and so on and so forth.
Being as multicultural as North America is, it is simply too hard to break down each culture within, so marketers tend to break down into different countries. North America is primarily built off of three countries: Canada, the US, and Mexico. Within these three countries stands near 250 different cultures. These cultures are made up of 343 million people. North America is known to have 7 different religions. You may recognize some of these ads. Ads such as Puma, Converse, Gillette, Ford. A lot of the ads you're seeing are ads that are viewed mostly in the United States. This is because they're more effective in the United States. Compared to the United States, Mexico's a little bit different. In Mexico, the commercials on TV and radio are governmentally controlled. This means that there is a higher censor for sex in advertising. Therefore, the effectiveness would be lesser on TV and radio for the target markets than would be in paper ads such as newspapers and magazines. Much like Mexico, Canada also has a It's a semi-censored broadcasting system. This allows some advertisements to still sweep their way through purchase, which does in the end make this advertisement effective. Not all companies choose to use sex in a sexual way. Some companies, like IKEA, sometimes like to use it as a humorous thing, like this ad here. Is there such thing as taking advertisements too far? How did New York respond to this next ad? This is a billboard by Calvin Klein jeans featuring 3 guys and a girl in downtown New York. What did they do about it? They demanded Calvin Klein replace it. So they did. With this. Is this any better? It still has sex in it.
I've researched the effectiveness of sex advertising in other countries and cultures. Do you know how many countries are there in the world? 100, 200, or 300? There are approximately 250 countries in the world. Shawn did a research on North America, so what about the rest of the world? It's a secret, but I did only 5% of those remaining countries. And I'm going to introduce a few countries today. It was hard for me to get enough information on certain countries where people believe that sex should not be published. These countries do not have much information about this subject. However, I have found some very interesting facts as follows. Even though it is taboo, some countries bring sexuality to their advertising using Western or foreign models. The degree of sexuality portrayed is affected by the cultural values of each country. There was the least degree of sexuality characterized in ads in China. Chinese models were less involved with the amount of sexuality than foreign models, which reflects the political system in China, and it's affected on the freedom or lack of freedom in advertising. China actually banned many ads they believe to be overtly seductive and tantalizing in nature. Advertising in Brazil has a great degree of sexuality. Even greater degrees of sexuality in ads were shown in France, and surprisingly in Thailand as well. In Thailand, in terms of the cultural attitude toward women, women hold a higher level of status. The religious belief of Buddhism is also tolerant of sexuality expressions. In Thailand's case, we might expect there to be less use of sex in advertising, but there is actually more. I also found that nudity in advertisement in India make use of foreign models because the main religion in this culture prohibits the use of domestic models. Nudity in certain ads open some advertising perceptions of the Muslim group. As a matter of fact, I was so astonished to see ads in Russia. Vladimir Putin's United Russian Party was feeling the heat for their race advertisement, which uses Axe body spray rather than a traditional election campaign. Russia has come under fire for this ad. We all can't help but notice the sexuality in this ad. I presented my topic very gently, as if I were pastor or monk. I came from Korea, and I have been raised and grown in this way. Thank you.